So my flowers have been hydrated, and I'm going to show you how to make some easy arrangements. Anemones literally have to be the easiest flower in the world to arrange. So I can just show you how quickly you can take some bottles or test tube vases like this and literally just drop handfuls in at different heights and have a really great looking display. Just make sure you go different levels. You know, because they don't have any thorns, they don't have any leaves, they don't really need anything done to them. So you do something like that, and then you just drop a few in much lower and create this kind of like tiered little display that looks amazing down in the center of a table. Everybody knows I'm probably my least favorite container is a clear glass vase, but sometimes with them it's just so easy to just take them and just take a cylinder like this and a handful and just let them do their thing. Just take a nice bunch like this and just drop them in and let them open up and move around and look fabulous. It's as simple as that. Don't overthink these guys because they are going to move and they're going to have a lot of character and they just look great in any room. Just loosely packed, dropped into cylinders, so you've got a great looking arrangement like that. Now, if you want to do something a little bit more complicated, I'm going to take something like this. This is a low concrete pot. It's got a wide mouth. I'm going to make something a little bit more traditional LMD with the greenery and the hellebores. This is kind of that fine line between masculine and feminine. It works great in any room. You can take floral tape or scotch tape, find the end, and I'm going to do a tic-tac-toe grid. On top of this just takes this wide mouth and makes it a little bit more compartmentalized, a little bit more manageable. And I can make a little bit more of a traditional mixed arrangement / centerpiece in this vessel. I'm going to round the edge with my tape. Again, scotch tape works just fine. This really helps to keep it nice and tight. There I've taken this large mouth cylinder and broken it down into a more manageable thing. Clean water, about 2 fingers from the top. If you don't have flower food, a little 7-Up. 2/3 water, 1/3 7-Up. Makes it good. It's got the citric acid and it has the sugar in it, so this acts as a flower food. You can take a splash of vodka. This helps kill the bacteria that breaks down. Now we're ready to go. So we have this actually looks great just like this. Just the hellebores and the green Italian pit. So I'm going to move the pit out. I'm going to start by getting my hellebores in here. What I like about this, it's a little tangled, that has a nice drape to it. So I'm going to go around the perimeter edge with this, and I may not need to cut much off. I can just work my way around the edge, and this has a nice little cascading motion that just softens it. I'm leaving most of my greenery on because I think the greenery is very pretty. Occasionally you're going to see a little bum leaf, but just check everything again. I know you've cleaned it already, just to make sure it's all in good shape. So 4 or 5 pieces of this is all I need. Let me get one more here. Now, the tape is helping to hold it together. Now I'm going to add my green trick. This stuff is fun. This is a variety of carnation actually, and it just looks like moss. It's that really intense emerald green, so this is great for St. Patrick's Day or just if you're needing some green in your life. I'm going to tuck this in so it actually ends up being quite tight and it looks like little moss puffs. So you can create little kind of valleys out of this. And just make sure all the leaves are off. Spear it in a few areas. You can kind of overlap it on top of each other to make a little grassy knoll almost. And then I'll get some of my pit in here. So a stem like this, I'm going to get a couple of cuts off of it. So now I have 2 pieces. You want to make sure that none of the leaves are in the water. You have a nice clean stem. And just to break up some of the texture, I'll add this little bit of green in here. I'm going to get one more piece of the green trick in here. So I worked my way around the perimeter and then kind of made my way in through the center. Just step back and give it a spin every once in a while so there are still some holes, but it's got a good base started. Now I can start adding my anemones. Now the anemones are interesting because they're one of the flowers like a tulip or like a hyacinth that continues to grow. However, these have not done this yet. Well, this one has. So they have these frilly collars, kind of an Elizabethan collar of greenery, but you can see they grow from the top of that collar. So this will continue to grow probably another inch or so. I mean, they have such personality with their little dark centers, and they look like, they're communicating with you. So I'm pretending that I have this sort of central access point so that I don't want my flowers crisscrossing each other. Everything is kind of coming from this center area and radiating out. So again, I'm just working my way around the edge. Going low, I can then go back and add taller ones, but knowing that these are going to move around a little bit, the flowers themselves are actually going to get much larger. And just gently, because we've kept everything that's inside here is just stems, it's nice and clean. This is a nice chaos of flowers, but it's pretty clean inside, so the stems are slipping in quite easily, and the tape is holding it up. And keep adding. Step back and squint, kind of look at your profile. Then you can go a little bit taller, move it around, and you're really just playing off of the different textures, the greenery. Some of these have really interesting stems like that, so don't let that intimidate you, just actually work with it. So I'm going to put that in here on the side and let it hang over the edge. I'm making sure that my stems go all the way to the base of the vase. Said this before, anemones are really big drinkers. So get your stem to the very base because this water level is going to low. As it drinks, the level will go down. You don't want your stems out of water. It's also important to check the water levels on a daily basis. So you can just keep adding more foliage, more anemones, making sure your edges are soft. You want to go a little bit taller with your green trick. Go ahead and go for it. I'm just taking all the leaves off this trick because they do tend to wilt. And with the leaves gone, this green mossy part will last for a really long time. I can even get more hellebores coming up through the top. Work that in here. That green is so pretty. And just keep adding and layering until you feel like it's done. It's a great centerpiece, great coffee table arrangement. Got a big hole here. Let me add more in this way. But anemones, they are my favorite flower. They only last, well, they're only around until the last week of April, so I try to use as many stems as I possibly can in the spring. It's just a nice, fresh counterbalance to all the hysterical color of tulips and hyacinths, and just feels masculine and refreshing and fresh and pretty and perky and contrasty. All my favorite things in one little flower.